How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to teach you how to mix an acapella with a beat. I'm going to show you how to get from this.
Hokey pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give it. I was chasing the bag.
To this.
Hokey pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give it. I was chasing the bag. Get put in the split like a flow. The word of God make the devil sad. We ain't got time for no.
Alright, so first things first, shout out to Cole the 7th for this acapella. Super cool guy, check him out. But essentially it's all pre-mixed, so before we get into the actual beat itself, I'm just going to show you what I did. Lowered it a bit and just added a little bit of a reverb just to get this.
Hokey pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give it. I was chasing the bag. Get put in the split like a flow. The word of God make the devil sad. We ain't got time for no demon politics. Make the devil sad.
Okay, so first thing to do when making a beat around an acapella is to find the root note. Now for this case, I loaded up this sound on Expand. Where is it? Soft Pads and Soft Rotor EP. And it sounds like this. Now all you gotta do is play the root note. So in this case, it's E4. So
Hokey pokey.
So what I started with was this.
Hokey pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give it. I was chasing the bag. Get put in the split like a flow. The word of God make the devil sad.
Right, just to make sure that it is in fact the root note. And then I added some filler notes at the top. So now it gets like this.
Hokey pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give it. I was chasing the bag. Get put in the split like a flow. The word of God make the devil sad. We ain't got time for no demon politics. Make the devil sad.
Now, with effects, this is what I added. One, I added a compressor. I just added the vintage preset just to blow it up a bit.
Hokey pokey, all the ops.
A little bit of an EQ over here, just to take out the lows, and a little bit of frequencies I didn't like. A little bit of reverb just to make it white, just turn the dry down a bit, the wet up a bit. And then the halftime and the gross beat is for effects in the song, and I'll touch on that later. So next thing to add was a little bit of color to it. So I added another bank of Expand. And this is what that sounds like here. So with this, it sounds like this. Now the reason it sounds so thin up here when it comes to the like almost this descending ARP, like that, is because I knew I was gonna put a halftime preset on it, and that sounds like this. Let me put it on. So it's just a one bar over here, and that sounds like this. So it went from this to this. Then to beef it up, I put a wave shaper just so I can get a little bit of distortion. Add a bit of an EQ to take out the frequencies I didn't like. Just a low cut and a bit of a high cut. And then the halftime and gross beat we didn't end up using, so I'll just keep those on mute. So with the Expand, the other bank, it sounds like this. Now next thing I added, and normally for drill melodies you only want one or two things, but for this I felt like it needed a bit of a flute. So that's exactly what I added. Now, I'll show you without effects and with effects. Where is it? There. Now with effects, this is what that sounds like. So again, just a halftime here. And I put, instead of 1 bar, I put it on half bar. That sounds like this. With an EQ, just to take out the frequencies I didn't like. Again, just a low cut. And then a reverb just to put in the background a bit. Now with the vocals, you get this.
Hokey pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give up. I was chasing the bag, things get put in a spliff like a pro. The word of God, make the devil sad. We ain't got time for no demon politics. Make the devil sad.
Alright, now let's get to the drums. So the first thing I always do is, whenever I mix my vocals, what I do is I keep the main melody unmuted, just so I can keep that going. Let me find this here. So in this case, it's going to be the rotary E piano. Okay, so first things first is I like to get a snare pattern going. So that sounds like this. Let me just unmute everything. And then I get a hi-hat bounce going. Now notice how the bottom over here, the velocities are all over the place. That's just easy. It's just Alt-R and you can lower the velocity like that. Or you can manually highlight them like this and lower the velocity by holding a right click and moving it down. Or up, or whatever way you want to go. Now once I get that going, I get a kick, I get a kick pattern going so I can get a nice bounce to it. Now it's very important to remember, in a drill song, kicks are supposed to be like really fucking loud. You really want, that's what you want to hit. So once I get that going, I get an 808 pattern going. So for this case, I wanted a subby tone that I could distort later. So in this case, I just used the booming 808 from the Metro Boomin, the free Metro Boomin kit. Let's mute the effects for this, so I can show you what I put. Okay. All right, so let me just get in here. All right, for the 808 pattern, I literally just follow the kick. And whenever you have 808s for drill, whenever you have 808s for drill, something you can do to make them punch a bit more and have a low release and stuff like that is make this shape over here. So turn everything down all the way except hold. And basically what that does is whenever you let go, it'll stop playing. And it won't take a while to come in either. So that's good. Also put it on cut itself. So what I did here is, you might be wondering why I have low velocity there. Essentially what I did is I slid it up from 0 to this note over here. So that'll sound like, it'll have almost like a wah effect. So that sounds like. You might hear it or not, but essentially over here, whoop, and over here. You can see these notes are panned either way. So if you, after I put the effects on, which are essentially just a wave shaper for sound, an EQ to boost the highs, and a fast distortion, you can hear how it pans in both ears. So keep it and listen for right and left panning. See how it goes. Dun it. Nice. Nice. And then after that, I go ahead and mute everything, including the melody, and then I just start working on perks. So the first perk I used was this one here. So that sounds like. It's already disgusting, but like, you know. Next one you have to add is this. This for me is a must in drill songs. You need to have this perk. And the pattern you can do with these are actually pretty cool. So this is the one I did. Next thing was just an open hat like this. That's what that sounds like. I just hitting on all the 2s and the 4s, or the 2s and the 6s. Then we just have a basic crash, and finally a bell. Now, if you're wondering how I mixed everything, this is basically what I had over here. Now with all the melodies minus the vocals, and this is what it sounds like in the most energetic part of the song. And with the vocals, it sounds like this.
Pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give up. I was chasing the bag, get put in a split like a flow. The word of God, make the devil sad. We ain't got time for no demon politics. Make the devil sad. I was on a...
Alright, when it comes to arranging, essentially how drill works is, and this is a perfect vocal to demonstrate it, it comes in around the 20-ish, 27 seconds, which is about 16 bars. So you have a 16 bar buildup. So the way I do it normally is I have a, because they could always cut it in post. So the way I do it is I have my opening melody like this. You have your beat tags.
Productions.
Then you introduce another melody. So in this case, I wanted to use the flute, and then start introducing some perks. So what I tend to do most of the time, because it has a really nice build-up effect, is I add the hi-hats. I use the perks, the gunshot type perks, and then a crash. And I'll make a cut here. Now the cut here, I'll let it play for a bit. So this right here that you hear, very common in drill songs. In this case, I used it for the main melody here. Now all it is a halftime, 1 bar, and slowed down 4 times. So it's down 2 octaves, and a gross beat with this effect on it, and that gives it a stutter. So it goes like this. Then I put everything in. Melody wise, I take the flute out, because the flute I just use for accents. I put the main in, and I use the little koto thing I put all the perks in, and I delay the kick and the 808 by 2 bars. So that's what that sounds like. And then from there, it's just adding the flute. It just adds a little bit of a texture. Now for this part, I took away the open hat, the hi-hats, the kicks, when it comes to drums, and then the other 2 melodies out for to give it more space. Now, one thing I did with the 808 is I just kept the first hit, just so we still have that bass frequencies, but it's not as jarring as all the slides and stuff. So that's what that sounds like. Then for the second part, I just added the kick, like just half a bar of the kick. I took away the snare and I added the hi-hats. I also took away the crash. And as you can see over here, it has the 2 effects that we put back on, the automation clips, and that's gonna go back to the hook over here. And then essentially after that, it's pretty much the same. So that's essentially it for the video, guys. Again, shout out to Cole the 7th for the acapellas. Super dope guy. Go check him out. Go check his YouTube channel out. And that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to play the track out and see you next time, guys.
Pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give up, I was chasing the bag. Get put in a split like a flow. The word of God, make the devil shout. We ain't got time for no demon politics. Make the devil sad. Pokey, all the ops out there, they nosy. I used to chill on the block, I was lonely, couldn't give up, I was chasing the bag. Get put in a split like a flow. The word of God, make the devil shout. We ain't got time for no demon politics. Make the devil sad. I was on the streets curious like George, so I hopped in the booth, start playing some chords. And every single time I spit, there's fire, cause I'm always rapping about my Messiah. There's fire in the booth, the flames go higher. Like the flames go, I'ma lift Jesus higher. Demons get bun, demons get bored, demons get bun, yeah, with my soul.